Ethan Caldwell, a 38-year-old white American billionaire CEO, strode through the grand lobby of the Sapphire Crown Hotel, his polished black Oxfords clicking against the gleaming marble floors. His pale skin caught the soft glow of the towering crystal chandeliers overhead, but his sharp blue eyes were fixed on the phone pressed to his ear. His blonde hair, meticulously styled that morning, framed a face etched with the faint strain of relentless ambition. At 6 feet tall, his tailored navy suit hugged his lean frame, projecting an aura of control despite the chaos in his mind. Today was the launch of his company's most audacious project, yet a revolutionary AI-driven tech platform, and the investor summit at this opulent New York hotel was his chance to cement his legacy. Ethan juggled 2 calls simultaneously, with his CFO barking about shareholder concerns and his assistant finalizing the summit's schedule. "Yes. Confirm the keynote for noon," he said into the phone, his voice clipped but steady. "And make sure the Tokyo investors are seated up front." The air carried a faint scent of polished brass and exotic orchids. Still, Ethan barely noticed his focus, consumed by the mental checklist of tasks, sponsor deals, security protocols, and a looming threat from rival shareholders eyeing his company's vulnerabilities. He was so engrossed that he didn't see the concierge, a young woman with a crisp uniform and a practiced smile, until she entered his path. "Mr. Caldwell, welcome to the Sapphire Crown," she said, her tone reverent. "Your presidential suite is ready." Ethan, 38, gave a curt nod, his pale complexion betraying a flicker of exhaustion. "Thank you," he muttered, brushing past her toward the elevators. His phone buzzed again, a text from his board ally, Clara Bennett, warning about Victor Langston, a 55-year-old shareholder with a knack for corporate sabotage. Langston's sniffing around. "Watch your back." Ethan's jaw tightened. He didn't have time for games when his company's future hung in the balance. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime, and Ethan stepped inside, still on the phone. "Clara." "I'll handle Langston," he said, his voice low. "Just keep the board in line." He tapped the button for the top floor, his mind replaying a heated boardroom argument from last week, where Langston, a wiry man with a predatory grin, had questioned Ethan's leadership. The doors closed, and the elevator hummed upward, mirrored walls reflecting Ethan's tense posture. He ended the call, slipping the phone into his pocket, and ran a hand through his blonde hair, trying to shake the unease creeping up his spine. The summit was a pressure cooker. Investors from London, Shanghai, and Dubai had flown in expecting a flawless presentation. Ethan's company, Caldwell Innovations, was betting everything on this AI platform designed to revolutionize data analytics. A single misstep, a technical glitch, a rival's smear could tank their stock. Ethan's assistant had warned him about rumors circulating on X hinting at personal distractions. He dismissed them as gossip, but the weight of expectation pressed harder. When the elevator stopped, Ethan stepped out without glancing at the floor number, his mind still on Langston's veiled threats. He clutched a slim leather briefcase filled with contracts, its weight a reminder of the stakes. The hallway was quiet, lined with plush carpet and gold-trimmed doors. A discreet sign read, "Presidential Level," and Ethan, assuming it was his floor, followed it to a heavy oak door. He swiped his keycard. The lock clicked, and he pushed inside, expecting the familiar solitude of his suite. Unbeknownst to him, Ethan had stepped onto the 21st floor, not the 22nd. The suite he entered wasn't his. It belonged to Maya Johnson, a 35-year-old Black American designer with rich brown skin and expressive dark eyes whose life was about to collide with his in a way neither could have predicted. The mistake born of distraction and haste would unravel secrets that would change everything. Ethan Caldwell pushed open the heavy oak door of the Sapphire Crown suite, expecting the familiar quiet of his reserved space. Instead, a soft sob broke the silence, stopping him cold. The lavish room glowed under a crystal chandelier, its plush cream carpets and floor-to-ceiling windows framing a glittering city skyline. To his left, near a velvet-draped table, sat Maya Johnson, her shoulders trembling, hands pressed to her face. In the corner, two gilded cribs held toddler twins, their curly hair catching the lamplight, their cheeks round with sleep. Ethan's briefcase slipped from his hand, thudding onto the carpet. "Maya," he whispered, his voice cracking. Maya's head snapped up, her dark eyes wide with shock, shimmering with tears. She stood abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor. "Ethan, how did you get in here?" Her voice was thick, unsteady, as she wiped her face with a tissue, glancing nervously toward the cribs. Ethan's gaze darted between her and the children, his mind racing. He recognized her instantly, his former collaborator, a brilliant designer whose intricate tech accessories had once dazzled his company's elite clients. 3 years ago, she'd vanished from his world, leaving only rumors and unanswered questions. Now, here she was, in a suite he'd mistakenly entered with 2 toddlers who bore an uncanny resemblance to him. "I thought this was my suite," Ethan stammered, holding up his keycard, his cheeks flushing. There must have been a mix-up at the desk. He stepped forward, drawn to the cribs despite himself. The twins, stirring lightly, had soft curls, and delicate features mirrored his childhood photos. His stomach twisted. "Maya, are they?" He couldn't finish the question. Its weight was too heavy. She moved to block his view, her composure fraying. "Ethan, please go," she whispered, her voice trembling but firm. He set the briefcase down, refusing to move. "Not until you tell me what's going on." His eyes locked on hers, searching for answers. Maya hugged her arms around herself, hesitating, then sighed, her resolve crumbling. "They're yours," she admitted softly. "Liam and Lila. They're 2 years old." The words hit Ethan like a physical blow, his breath catching. He stepped closer to the cribs, peering at the sleeping children. Liam shifted, clutching a tiny blanket, while Lila's eyelashes fluttered in the half-light. Ethan's heart flipped, a mix of awe and disbelief flooding him. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked, his voice low, cracking with emotion. Maya's eyes filled with fresh tears. "I tried, Ethan. When I found out I was pregnant, I called, emailed, and even showed up at your office. Your team, your lawyers, your advisors, they shut me out. They said I was a liability, a distraction from your empire." Her voice hardened with old pain. "I was alone, so I left. I couldn't fight your corporate machine." Ethan's mind spun, guilt clawing at him. He remembered their late nights together, designing sleek smartwatch bands for billionaire clients. In a quiet moment during a Paris project, they'd shared a stolen kiss under a street lamp, their laughter echoing in a cobblestone alley. He'd fallen for her creativity and warmth, but his advisors warned that a public relationship could jeopardize investor trust. When Maya left, he'd assumed she'd moved on, never suspecting she carried their children. "I had no idea," he murmured, running a hand through his blonde hair. "If I'd known." Maya pulled a faded photo from her purse, a candid shot of them in that Paris cafe, her smile radiant, his arm around her. "This was us. Before everything fell apart," she said, her voice softening. "I kept it, hoping one day you'd understand." Ethan stared at the photo, the memory flooding back, her sketching designs on a napkin, his teasing her about her perfectionism. Now the twins' existence reframed everything. Before he could respond, a sharp knock echoed through the suite. Maya froze, her eyes darting to the door. "Room service," a cheerful voice called. She motioned for Ethan to stay quiet, cracking the door to dismiss the staff with a quick apology. When it closed, she turned back, her expression torn. "You can't be here, Ethan. If anyone sees you, it'll start rumors. I'm already on edge." She glanced at the twins, her protective instinct clear. Ethan nodded, but his feet felt rooted. "We need to talk about this, Maya. I'm not walking away from them." He gestured to Liam and Lila, their innocent faces stirring something profound within him. His phone buzzed in his pocket, a reminder of the investor summit waiting downstairs. "I have to go for now, but I'll be back. This changes everything." He picked up his briefcase, pausing at the threshold. Maya's voice followed as the door closed, soft and trembling. "Be careful, Ethan. Someone's watching us." The Sapphire Crown suite felt smaller now, its opulent walls closing in as Ethan Caldwell stood frozen, the weight of Maya Johnson's revelation pressing against his chest. The twins. Liam and Lila slept peacefully in their gilded cribs, unaware of the storm brewing around them. Maya's words, "They're yours," echoed in Ethan's mind, each syllable unraveling years of carefully constructed control. He looked at her, her dark eyes brimming with a mix of pain and defiance, and felt a surge of guilt for the life she'd faced alone. The faded photo she held, a snapshot of them laughing in a Paris cafe 3 years ago, lay on the table, a fragile bridge to a past they'd both buried. "Maya, how did this happen?" Ethan asked, his voice low, almost pleading. He sank onto the plush sofa, the city skyline glowing beyond the suite's expansive windows. "How did we get from that?" He gestured to the photo. To this, Maya sat across from him, her posture rigid, as if bracing for a wound to reopen. "You want to know?" she said, her tone sharp, but softened by exhaustion. "Because it wasn't just one moment, Ethan. It was 1,000 little cuts." She began to unravel their history, her voice steady, despite the ache behind it. They'd been inseparable 3 years ago, working late into the night at Caldwell Innovations. Maya, a rising star in design, had crafted tech accessories, smartwatch bands, wireless earpiece casings that blended artistry with function, winning over elite clients. Their collaboration turned personal during a project in Paris, where they'd spent evenings sketching in a cramped hotel room, their ideas sparking over glasses of wine. One night, under a street lamp on the Seine, Ethan had pulled her close, their kiss a quiet rebellion against the corporate world's scrutiny. The photo was captured the following evening, their laughter unguarded, her hand brushing his as they shared a dessert. But back in New York, the corporate machine intervened. Ethan's advisors, led by Victor Langston, a cunning shareholder with a knack for control, saw Maya as a risk, a designer dating the CEO. "It'll spook investors," Langston had warned, his voice dripping with false concern. Ethan, then consumed by a significant merger, hesitated to push back. Sensing the pressure, Maya tried to reach him when she learned she was pregnant, but his team intercepted her calls, blocked her emails, and even turned her away at the office, labeling her a distraction. "Maya said they told me you didn't want to see me." Her eyes glistening. "I was humiliated, Ethan. Pregnant, alone, and pushed out of a company I'd poured my soul into." Ethan's jaw clenched, his fingers tightening around the photo. He remembered those months, her sudden absence, the vague explanations from his staff, his distraction with boardroom battles. "I thought you left for a better offer," he admitted, his voice thick. "I should have questioned it. I should have fought for you." The memory of their last project together flooded back. Maya presented a prototype to a Dubai client, her confidence lighting up the room, and Ethan watched with quiet pride. He'd let her slip away, blinded by ambition. Maya stood pacing to the cribs, her hand resting on Lila's blanket. "I kept designing even after I left. She said I had to for them," glancing at the twins. "But I never stopped wondering if you'd care or want to know them." Ethan rose, stepping closer, his gaze fixed on the sleeping children. "I care, Maya, more than I can say. But why stay silent so long?" She turned, her expression torn. fear. Your world, your company, it's a fortress. I didn't want to lose what little I had left if I came forward and you rejected us. A sharp knock on the door shattered the moment. Maya stiffened her eyes, darting to Ethan. "Stay back," she whispered, moving to the peephole. "It's just a staff member," she said, relief fleeting. She cracked the door, murmuring excuses to decline a turn-down service, then shut it firmly. "We can't stay here long," she said, turning back. "Someone's watching us. I found a note under the door earlier, threatening to expose the twins if I don't stay quiet." She pulled a crumpled paper from her pocket. The words, "We know your secret. Keep it hidden or pay," scrawled in bold ink. Ethan's blood ran cold. He recognized the tactic Langston's style, using leverage to crush opponents. "This isn't just about us," he said, his voice hardening. "Someone wants to bury us both to protect their secrets." He glanced at the twins, their innocent faces fueling a new resolve. "I won't let them hurt you or Liam and Lila. We'll figure this out, Maya. Together." As he spoke, his phone buzzed a summons to the summit's opening dinner. He hesitated, torn between duty and the family he'd just discovered, but Maya nodded. "Go. We'll talk later. Just be careful." Ethan stepped toward the door, the weight of their past and the threat ahead pressing on him, knowing one wrong move could unravel everything. Ethan Caldwell stood in Maya Johnson's suite at the Sapphire Crown, the crumpled note in his hand burning like a live coal. The words, "We know your secret. Keep it hidden or pay," scrawled in stark ink, confirmed his worst fears. Someone was targeting his newly discovered twins, Liam and Lila, to exploit his vulnerabilities. The lavish room felt like a gilded cage, with its silk drapes and glowing city views. Maya stood by the cribs, her posture tense, her eyes scanning the door as if expecting another intrusion. "This is Victor Langston's doing," she said, her voice low but edged with steel. Ethan nodded, his mind racing to piece together the threat. Langston, a cunning shareholder known for ruthless takeovers, had long coveted control of Caldwell Innovations. Ethan had clashed with him before, but this was different, personal. Maya stepped closer, pulling a slim folder from her suitcase. "When I was designing for your top clients, I stumbled on something," she said, handing him the papers. "Financial records are hidden in a client's project file. They show Langston siphoning funds into offshore accounts, falsifying reports to inflate stock prices. I kept copies as insurance when I left." Ethan flipped through the documents, his pulse quickening at the evidence of fraud. "This could ruin him," he murmured. "No wonder he's desperate to silence us." The twins' soft coos broke the sweet silence. Liam clutched a plush toy, while Lila stirred her tiny hand, reaching for the crib's edge. Ethan's chest tightened with a protective instinct he hadn't known he possessed. "He's using the twins as leverage to bury this," he said, setting the folder down. "If this gets out, his empire collapses and he loses everything." Maya's eyes hardened. "And if we don't stop him, he'll destroy us first." Her words hung heavy, the stakes clear. Their family and her future were on the line. A sharp rap on the door jolted them. Maya motioned for Ethan to stay back, peering through the peephole. "It's Clara," she said, relief flickering in her voice. She opened the door to admit Clara Bennett, Ethan's trusted board ally, whose sharp gray eyes and crisp blazer exuded quiet authority. Clara, a seasoned strategist who'd mentored Ethan through his early CEO days, carried a tablet glowing with encrypted files. "I've been digging," she said, closing the door Langston's behind the note. "My contact in IT traced a server linked to his offshore accounts. He's been funneling money for years and knows Maya has the proof." Ethan's jaw tightened. "He's targeting my family to protect his scam." Clara nodded, tapping the tablet. I found emails between Langston and a private investigator. They've been watching Maya's suite, tracking her movements. They know about the twins and her pitch tomorrow. Maya's breath caught her hand, instinctively moving to the crib. My jewelry pitch, she said. It's my chance to start over. If Langston leaks this, I'll be labeled a scandal and no investor will touch me. Clara's expression softened. I've got your back, Maya. I've already alerted our legal team to secure the evidence electronically. But you both need to be careful. Langston's desperate men played dirty. She handed Ethan a USB drive. Backup of the fraud files. Please keep it safe. Ethan pocketed it, his resolve hardening. We need to neutralize him before he strikes again. Clara agreed, her voice firm. I'll work my network to isolate his allies on the board. But you two need a plan fast. As Clara left, promising to monitor Langston's moves, Ethan turned to Maya. We can't let him control this narrative. It'll be a media circus if he exposes the twins before we're ready. Maya nodded, her fingers, brushing the photo of their Paris night still on the table. I've spent 3 years hiding Ethan. I'm done running. But we need to protect Liam and Lila first. Ethan glanced at the sleeping toddlers, their innocence contrasting with the corporate warfare brewing outside. I'll arrange private security for the suite by tonight, he said. No one gets near them. His phone buzzed a summons to the summit's pre-dinner briefing. He hesitated, torn between duty and the family he'd just found. I have to go, but I'm not leaving you alone in this, he said, his voice steady. Maya met his gaze, her expression a mix of fear and determination. Just don't underestimate Langston. He's already one step ahead. Ethan stepped toward the door, the USB drive heavy in his pocket, the note's threat echoing in his mind. A faint murmur from the hallway staff whispering about a mystery woman in the suite sent a chill down his spine as he left. The game was on, and the stakes had never been higher. Ethan Caldwell stood in the Sapphire Crown's conference lounge, its sleek glass walls reflecting the city's morning glow. The plush leather chairs and polished oak table contrasted with the storm brewing in his mind. The USB drive Clara Bennett had given him, containing evidence of Victor Langston's fraud, weighed heavily in his pocket. Maya's revelation about the twins, Liam and Lila, and the threatening note, "We know your secret. Keep it hidden or pay," had turned his world upside down. Clara's warning about Langston's surveillance confirmed a chilling truth. This was no mere corporate spat, but a calculated attack to destroy him and protect a web of corruption. Clara leaned forward with her sharp gray eyes scanning the lounge for eavesdroppers. Langston's been at this for years, she said, her voice low. He's siphoned millions from Caldwell Innovations into shell companies, inflating profits to manipulate stock prices. My IT contact found a trail of transactions hidden in project budgets, your AI platform included. Ethan's fists clenched, the betrayal cutting deep. Langston, a shareholder with a knack for charming investors, had always pushed for aggressive expansions, but Ethan hadn't suspected fraud on this scale. He's using the twins to distract from his crimes. Ethan set his tone hard. If he exposes them, the scandal buries Maya's evidence. Clara nodded, tapping her tablet to reveal a spreadsheet of illicit transfers. He's got allies, 2 board members, and an offshore banker who've been skimming with him. They need you discredited to keep the money flowing. That's why they're targeting Maya's pitch tomorrow. If her jewelry line fails, she's collateral damage. Ethan's mind flashed to Maya in her suite, guarding the twins in her designs. Her talent once elevated his company. Langston now aimed to crush her comeback to save himself. The lounge's glass door swung open, and Victor Langston himself strode in his wiry frame, draped in a tailored charcoal suit, a sly grin curling his lips. Caldwell, he drawled, adjusting his cufflinks. You seem distracted. Rough night. His tone was laced with menace, his eyes glinting with the confidence of a man holding all the cards. Ethan stood, his posture rigid. "Cut the games, Langston. I know what you're doing." Langston's grin widened, unfazed. "Oh, I'm just looking out for the company. Rumors are swirling about a particular designer and unexpected family ties. Investors hate surprises, Ethan." Clara stepped forward, her presence commanding. "Back off, Victor. We have enough on you to make your offshore accounts a front-page story." Langston's smile faltered, but he recovered quickly, leaning closer. "Careful, Bennett. Dig too deep and you'll find skeletons that hurt more than just me, like your CEO's secret children." His gaze flicked to Ethan. "Imagine the headlines. Billionaire hides twins while company bleeds. You'll lose everything stock, trust your precious summit." Ethan's blood surged, but he held his ground. "Threaten my family again and you'll regret it." Langston chuckled, stepping back. "I don't need to threaten. The truth does that for me. Keep Maya quiet, or her pitch and your legacy go up in flames." He turned, sauntering out, leaving a chill in the air. Clara's eyes narrowed. "He's bluffing, but he's got spies in the hotel. My contact saw a staff member slipping notes to him. We need to move fast." Ethan paced to the window, the city skyline a blur. "I'll get security to watch Maya's suite round the clock. But we need to protect her pitch, too." Clara nodded, her fingers flying over her tablet. "I've got a friend in PR who can spin her presentation as a comeback story authenticity sells. I'll also leak a hint of Langston's fraud to a trusted reporter, just enough to spook his allies." Her loyalty, forged through years of guiding Ethan past corporate pitfalls, steadied him. "You're risking a lot, Clara," he said, gratitude in his voice. She waved it off. "I've seen you build this company from nothing. I won't let Langston tear it down." As Clara left to coordinate with her contacts, Ethan's phone buzzed a text from Maya. Another note under the door. "They're watching the twins." His stomach knotted, but he typed back, "Stay put. Security's coming. We'll stop this." He headed for the elevator, determined to check on Maya and the twins. As the doors closed, a hotel staffer in the lobby whispered to another, their eyes darting toward him. The rumors were spreading, and Langston's trap was tightening. Ethan gripped the USB drive, knowing the fight for his family and company was only beginning. Maya Johnson sat at the small mahogany desk in her Sapphire Crown suite, the morning light filtering through heavy silk curtains. The twins Liam and Lila played quietly on a soft rug nearby, stacking colorful blocks with gleeful squeals. Her laptop, propped open before her, flickered ominously, its screen frozen on a corrupted file. Her jewelry designs, months of work meant for tomorrow's investor pitch, had vanished, likely sabotaged by Victor Langston's operatives. Maya's chest tightened, but she pushed back despair, her fingers tracing a sketch pad where she'd begun recreating her designs by hand. This pitch was her chance to secure a future for her children, and she wouldn't let Langston steal it. Inspired by her grandmother's intricate beadwork from childhood summers in New Orleans, her designs blended African motifs with sleek modern lines. Each piece necklaces with interlocking obsidian pendants, bracelets etched with geometric patterns, told a story of resilience much like hers. As a single mother, Maya had sketched late into the night, balancing diaper changes and client emails, pouring her heart into creations that could rival the luxury market. She remembered her grandmother's hands, calloused but gentle, weaving beads by candlelight, teaching her that beauty could emerge from struggle. Now, with her digital portfolio erased, Maya relied on that same grit, her pencil flying across the page, to resurrect her vision. The suite's door clicked open, and Ethan Caldwell slipped inside, his blonde hair slightly disheveled from a tense summit meeting. "Maya, are you okay?" he asked, his eyes flicking to the laptop. She sighed, setting down her pencil. Langston's people hacked my files. Most of my designs are gone. Ethan's jaw clenched, the USB drive of Langston's fraud evidence heavy in his pocket. He's trying to break you before the pitch, he said. But Clara's working on a counter-strategy. She's leaking hints of his fraud to spook his allies. Maya nodded, grateful for Clara's support, but focused on the sketchpad. I can't let this stop me. These designs are for Liam and Lila. A stable life. A real future. Ethan knelt beside the twins, who giggled as he handed Lila a stray block. Tell me about your work, he said, his voice soft. What makes it yours? Maya's eyes lit up a spark, cutting through her exhaustion. It's about legacy, she said. My grandmother taught me to weave stories into every piece. This collection, called Roots and Wings, uses materials like recycled gold and ethically sourced gems to honor tradition while pushing boundaries. I want investors to see more than jewelry. I want them to see hope. She showed him a sketch of a choker, its pattern inspired by kente cloth, reimagined in silver filigree. Ethan's admiration grew, recalling how her designs had once elevated his company's brand. A faint buzz from her phone interrupted them. A text from an unknown number. Cancel the pitch or the twins' photos go public. Maya's breath caught her hand, trembling as she showed Ethan. They're relentless, she whispered. Ethan's expression darkened. Security is posted outside your door, and Clara's tracing the message. We'll protect the kids. He paused, meeting her gaze. You're stronger than they know, Maya. Don't let them dim your light. His words, echoing her grandmother's encouragement, steadied her. She flipped open her sketchpad, determination flaring. I won't. I'll rebuild the portfolio by hand if I have to. As Ethan left to coordinate with Clara, Maya returned to her sketches, her pencil tracing bold lines. She thought of the nights she'd worked in a tiny apartment, the twins asleep in a second-hand crib, her dreams fueled by their soft breaths. Langston's sabotage was a blow, but she'd faced worse: corporate rejection, single-parenthood isolation. She sketched a new pendant, its curves mimicking the Mississippi River's flow, a tribute to her roots. The twins' laughter filled the room, grounding her. By evening, she'd recreated half her collection, each stroke a defiance of Langston's threats. A soft knock signaled Ethan's return. He said, Clara's PR friend is ready to frame your pitch as a comeback story. And security's tightened. No one's getting near Liam or Lila. Maya nodded, her sketches spread across the desk like a battle plan. I'm ready to fight for this, she said, her voice fierce. As Ethan glanced at the twins now napping, a distant murmur from the hotel's lobby reached them, whispers of a mystery designer tied to the CEO. The net was closing, but Maya's resolve was unbreakable. Her designs and her children were worth every risk. The Sapphire Crown's crystal hall loomed in shadows, its chandeliers dimmed to a faint glimmer, casting eerie reflections on the polished marble floor. Maya Johnson stood near the center, her breath shallow, clutching a slim clutch with her phone inside the note she'd found under her suite's door. Crystal Hall, midnight. Come alone had driven her here, despite the risk. Ethan Caldwell, refusing to let her face the threat alone, stood close, his presence a quiet anchor. The twins, Liam and Lila, were safe in their suite, guarded by 2 security agents Ethan had hired that evening, a precaution after the chilling text threatening their exposure. The hall's stacked chairs and silent expanse felt like a trap waiting to spring. Maya whispered, "We shouldn't be here," her voice barely audible over the faint hum of the hotel's ventilation. Ethan scanned the darkness, his hand brushing hers for reassurance. He said, "I got the same note," pulling a crumpled paper from his pocket. Midnight, Crystal Hall. Bring the evidence or the twins go public. Langston's behind this. He wants the fraud files. Maya's stomach knotted, the memory of her corrupted design files fueling her resolve. She'd spent the day rebuilding her jewelry portfolio, determined to protect her future and children. Now, facing Langston's enforcers, She felt the weight of every choice. A shadow moved behind a tall pillar, and Maya stiffened. Ethan stepped forward, shielding her. "Show yourself," he called, his voice echoing in the cavernous space. A figure emerged, a broad-shouldered man, in a dark coat, his face half hidden by a brimmed hat. "You're harboring secrets, Caldwell," he said, his tone cold. "2 kids and evidence that could sink half the board. Hand over the USB drive and pay $1 million to keep the twins out of the headlines." Maya's fists clenched. "You're disgusting, using my children to protect your fraud," she spat. The man smirked, stepping closer. "You're in no position to negotiate, Ms. Johnson. Your pitch tomorrow. Dead without our silence. And Caldwell's empire. It'll crumble when investors see the scandal." A second figure appeared, blocking the hall's exit, a tall, wiry man with a baton glinting in his hand. Ethan's muscles tensed, the USB drive burning in his pocket. "Threaten my family again and you'll regret it," he growled. The first man signaled, and the second lunged, aiming the baton at Ethan's shoulder. Ethan dodged, grabbing the man's arm, twisting it with force, honed from years of boxing in college. Maya's heart raced, but instinct kicked in. She snatched a folded chair from the stack, swinging it at the first attacker's legs. The metal clanged, forcing him to stumble. "Stay back!" she shouted, her voice fierce despite the fear clawing at her. The hall erupted in chaos. Grunts, scuffling feet, and the scrape of chairs toppling. Ethan wrestled the baton away, landing a sharp elbow to the second man's chest, sending him reeling. Maya swung again, her arms straining, but the first man grabbed her wrist, yanking her forward. She kicked his shin, breaking free, her breath ragged. A distant alarm pierced the air, triggered by the commotion. The attackers froze, exchanging a glance. "Time's up," the first man hissed, retreating into the shadows. The second followed, vanishing through a service door as hotel security's footsteps echoed closer. Bruised and panting, Ethan steadied Maya, his hand on her shoulder. "You okay?" he asked, wincing at a cut on his knuckles. She nodded, her eyes wide with adrenaline. "They're gone, but they'll be back." The hall's lights flickered on, revealing scattered chairs and scuff marks, a testament to the brief but brutal clash. Security burst in, led by a stern-faced manager. "Mr. Caldwell, what happened?" he demanded, eyeing the disarray. Ethan, regaining his composure, forced a calm tone. "A misunderstanding. We'll handle it privately." He slipped the manager a discreet wad of bills, a move he hated, but needed to keep the incident quiet. The manager hesitated, then nodded, ushering his team out. Maya clutched Ethan's arm, her voice low. "Langston's playing for keeps. If he leaks the twins, my pitch is ruined, and your summit collapses." Ethan met her gaze, his resolve unshaken. "We'll turn this around. Clara's working on exposing Langston's fraud to the press, and I've got security watching the twins 24/7. He thought of Clara Bennett, whose loyalty had already tipped the scales with her encrypted files. He added that you fought like hell back there, and a faint smile broke through. Maya managed a shaky laugh. "I had to for Liam and Lila." As they left the hall, the distant buzz of a lobby crowd reached them, reporters sniffing for a story. The ambush had failed, but the war was far from over. The Sapphire Crown's grand ballroom buzzed with anticipation, its polished floors reflecting the glare of studio lights. Rows of velvet chairs faced a low stage where microphones bristled like eager sentinels. Ethan Caldwell stood backstage, his breath steady, despite what lay ahead. The midnight ambush in the Crystal Hall had left a bruise on his knuckles and a fire in his resolve. Maya Johnson paced nearby, clutching a black folder of her salvaged jewelry designs, her eyes scanning the crowd through a gap in the velvet curtains. The twins Liam and Lila were secure in their suite, guarded by Ethan's hired security team, a precaution that eased Maya's nerves. Today, They would seize control of their story, exposing Victor Langston's fraud and revealing the twins to the world. Clara Bennett, Ethan's steadfast board ally, hovered near the stage steps, her tablet glowing with last-minute notes. "The press is hungry," she whispered, her sharp eyes scanning the room. "I leaked a hint of Langston's fraud to a trusted reporter, enough to rattle his allies. Legal's ready to file the evidence after you speak." Ethan nodded, grateful for Clara's cunning honed over years of navigating corporate battles. "Thanks, Clara. This ends today." Maya joined them, her posture tense but resolute. "I'm ready," she said, her voice firm. "Let's tell the truth before Langston twists it." The house lights dimmed, and Ethan climbed the stage, his suit crisp despite the previous night's scuffle. The room quieted, camera shutters snapping softly. Victor Langston sat in the front row, his wiry frame rigid, his grin smug. Ethan gripped the podium, his gaze sweeping the sea of reporters and investors. "Thank you for joining us," he began, his voice clear. "Today I'm addressing rumors about my personal life and our company's future. I would like your patience as I set the record straight." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Ethan took a breath, steadying himself. "I've built Caldwell Innovations on innovation and trust, but made mistakes. The biggest was not acknowledging my twin children Liam and Lila until now." Gasps erupted, cameras flashing wildly. "Their mother, Maya Johnson, is a brilliant designer who once shaped our brand. We had a relationship years ago, and due to corporate pressures she left. I only recently learned of our twins. I should have acted sooner, but I'm here now to claim them as my own." Reporters shouted questions. "Why hide them? Are you stepping down?" Ethan raised a hand, silencing the chaos. "There's more," he continued. "Maya holds evidence of fraud by certain shareholders who've tried to blackmail us to keep it hidden." He signaled Clara, who wheeled out a stand with sealed files, her presence lending weight to the claim. "These documents show falsified accounts and offshore transfers orchestrated by Victor Langston and his allies to siphon company funds." The ballroom erupted, journalists scrambling to their feet. Langston shot up, yanking off his glasses, his face red. "This is absurd," he bellowed, storming toward the stage. "You're smearing me with lies to cover your scandal." Clara stepped forward, her voice cutting through. "The evidence is filed with Victor, the authorities. Your accounts are already under scrutiny." Langston's eyes darted to the files, his composure cracking. "You'll ruin us all." "Caldwell!" he spat, lunging for the stand. Ethan blocked him, their shoulders colliding with a dull thud. Security swarmed, pulling Langston back as cameras flashed. Maya opened her folder to the microphone, revealing sketches of her Roots and Wings collection. She said, "I'm here to launch my jewelry line," her voice steady despite the chaos. "These designs tell my story, resilience, family, truth. I stand with Ethan, not for scandal, but for honesty." She held up a sketch of a Kente-inspired choker, its silver lines catching the light. A few investors nodded, intrigued, while others whispered, torn between shock and admiration. The crowd's noise swelled, but Ethan raised his voice. "We refuse to be blackmailed. My children and Maya are my priority. We'll fight for this company's integrity." Security escorted Langston out, his protests drowned by the clamor. Maya gripped Ethan's hand, her eyes meeting his with a shared resolve. The truth was out, raw and unfiltered, and though the fallout loomed, they'd faced the storm together. As they stepped off the stage, a reporter's shout echoed, "What's next for your family?" And the answer hung in the air, a challenge yet to be met. The Sapphire Crown's private lounge was a haven of calm after the morning press conference storm. Its tall windows framed a glittering cityscape, but Ethan Caldwell's focus was inward, his mind replaying the chaos of the ballroom cameras, flashing Victor Langston's furious outburst, and Maya Johnson's steady voice unveiling her jewelry designs. The twins. Liam and Lila were safe in their suite, guarded by the security team Ethan had hired. But a new threat had arrived via text as he left the stage. Your kids aren't safe yet. Meet our demands, or we act. Maya sat across from him on a plush sofa. Her black folder of sketches, open, her eyes weary but resolute. The weight of their public confession lingered, but so did their determination to protect their family. Clara Bennett, Ethan's loyal board ally, entered with a tablet, her sharp demeanor softened by a hint of relief. Legal's moving fast, she said, setting the device on the glass table. Langston's assets are frozen, and the authorities are investigating his offshore accounts. My reporter contact is running a story on his fraud tonight. It'll hit X and major outlets by morning. Ethan exhaled, his tension easing slightly. You've outdone yourself, Clara, he said. This could break his grip on the board. Clara's lips curved in a rare smile. I've spent years watching snakes like Langston. Helping you and Maya feels right. Maya's gaze flicked to her phone, the threatening text still burning in her mind. They're still after the twins, she said, her voice tight. Langston's allies won't stop just because he's cornered. Ethan leaned forward, his hand brushing hers. I've got a plan, he said. I've arranged for Liam and Lila to stay with your sister in a secure upstate estate until this blows over. My security firm will escort them tonight, and they'll have round-the-clock protection. Maya's shoulders relaxed, a flicker of gratitude in her eyes. Thank you, she whispered. I've been terrified they'd be caught in this. Clara nodded, tapping her tablet. I've also got my team monitoring Langston's associates. One was spotted near the hotel's service entrance, likely behind the trees. We're working with hotel security to lock down access to your floor. Her proactive stance, honed from years of outmaneuvering corporate rivals, bolstered their confidence. Maya glanced at her sketches, her roots and wings collection symbolizing her fight. I got 3 investor calls after the conference, she said, a spark of hope in her voice. They love the story behind my design's resilience, family. But if those threats go public, it could ruin everything. Ethan's resolve hardened. We won't let that happen. Clara's PR friend frames our story as authentic family and accountability. It's resonating. He thought of the twins, their giggles echoing from earlier, and felt a surge of purpose. Maya, I've been absent for too long. I'm doing this for Liam and Lila, for you. She met his gaze, her fingers tightening around his. We're stronger together, she said, but we need to stay one step ahead. A knock interrupted them. A hotel staffer with a tray of coffee and pastries, vetted by security, to ensure no spies slipped through. Maya opened her folder as the door closed, showing Ethan a new sketch. A pendant shaped like a soaring bird, its wings etched with kente patterns. This is for the twins, she said softly. A promise of freedom, no matter what comes. Ethan's chest warmed, recalling her passion from their Paris days. It's beautiful, he said. You're going to win those investors over. Clara's phone buzzed, her expression darkening. My contact says paparazzi are doubling outside, sniffing for more on the secret family. We need to control the narrative. Ethan nodded. We'll schedule a follow-up statement tomorrow to clarify our plans for the twins and the company. Transparency's our best defense. Maya agreed, her voice steady. I'll showcase my collection alongside it. If we own the story, Langston's threats lose power. As they planned, a distant shout from the lobby reached them, reporters clamoring for a scoop. Ethan's phone lit up with a message from his assistant. Langston's team is spreading rumors. Be ready for a counterattack. Maya's eyes met his, a shared defiance burning. With the twins' safety secured and Clara's support unwavering, they braced for the final push. The lounge's calm belied the storm outside, but they felt ready to face it as a united front for the first time. The Sapphire Crown's courtyard sparkled under the late morning sun, its marble fountain bubbling softly as Ethan Caldwell and Maya Johnson stood by a sleek black car, ready to leave the chaos of the investor summit behind. The twins Liam and Lila giggled in their car seats, clutching plush toys unaware of the storm their parents had weathered. Ethan's security team stationed discreetly nearby ensured the twins' safety, their presence a lingering necessity after Victor Langston's threats. The hotel's grand facade loomed behind them, a silent witness to the life-changing events unfolding within its walls. Maya's Roots and Wings jewelry collection showcased at the press conference had secured orders from 3 major investors drawn to her story of resilience. Ethan's company, Caldwell Innovations, stood stronger, and its integrity was restored by exposing Langston's fraud. Clara Bennett, Ethan's steadfast board ally, approached with a warm smile, her tablet tucked under her arm. The board's reorganizing, she said, her sharp eyes softening. Langston's allies are out, and the authorities have enough to keep him in court for years. My reporter friend's story on his offshore accounts is trending on X. Check it out, folks, and let us know what you think in the comments. Ethan chuckled at her subtle nod to the digital crowd, grateful for her strategic maneuvering. Clara, we couldn't have done this without you, he said. She waved it off. You and Maya did the hard part, standing up for the truth. Now build that family. Maya adjusted Lila's toy, her heart lighter than it had been in days. The twins were safe staying with her sister in a secure upstate estate until the media frenzy faded. I got another order this morning, she told Ethan, her voice bright. A boutique chain wants my Kente-inspired choker for their spring line. They love the Story family second chances. Ethan's eyes lit up, pride evident. You're unstoppable, he said, brushing a curl from Liam's forehead. The memory of their Paris nights sketching designs together felt like a promise reborn. The doorman, expression respectful, tipped his cap as he loaded their luggage. He said, "Safe travels. Mr. Caldwell, Ms. Johnson," his smile hinting at admiration for their courage. Ethan glanced at Maya, their hands brushing as they settled the twins. This place changed everything, he murmured, nodding at the hotel. One wrong door, and I found exactly where I was meant to be. Maya squeezed his hand, her smile mirroring his. Let's keep telling our story, she said. And if you're moved by it, hit that like button, share. How a moment can change a life. As the car pulled away, the Sapphire Crown silhouette receded, its opulence now a backdrop to their new beginning. The twins' laughter filled the back seat, a melody of hope that drowned out the echoes of blackmail and betrayal. Clara waved, her figure shrinking in the rearview mirror, her promise to reform the board, a final gift. Ethan's phone buzzed with a notification, a flood of supportive comments on X, praising their honesty. He said, "Looks like the world's rooting for us," showing Maya. "If you're with us, subscribe to follow what's next," he added with a grin, as if speaking to an unseen audience. The city's skyline stretched ahead, a canvas of possibility. Maya leaned against Ethan, her sketches tucked safely in her bag, each design a testament to her resilience. The summit had tested them, Langston's schemes, the paparazzi's glare, but they'd emerged, united, their family no longer a secret. We'll face the lawsuits, the headlines, whatever comes. Ethan said, his voice steady. Together. Maya nodded, her fingers laced with his. For Liam and Lila. For us. The car merged into traffic, carrying them toward a future where truth, not fear, would guide their path. As the Sapphire Crown faded, the twins' giggles rose, a reminder that love could bloom from chaos. Ethan glanced at Maya, her strength anchoring him. This is just the start, he said softly. If you've loved this journey, drop a comment. What's your take on family and second chances? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of unexpected beginnings. The road ahead was uncertain, but with the twins' joy in their ears and their hands entwined, Ethan and Maya knew they could face anything together.